The trick with most glue up jobs and the like is preparation. So I've made myself a little former, just an old scrap of timber that I'd used before. I recut that curve to give me about 1 inch of reflex when it's glued up. I've heat treated that belly slat, and there you are, there's a comparison between heat treated and not heat treated. Perhaps I've gone a little heavy, but it's not a matter of just scorching it. I had it on, I started at this end, I think I gave it about 8 minutes with the heat gun about that far away, then moved the heat gun that far, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. So it's quite a slow process. You can see that'll be splicing in the keel, but what I need to do before I glue it up is to chamfer this edge, because that will be difficult to do, after it's glued up. So you can see underneath, a sort of view underneath. Anyhow, and there's my hide glue. I've taken it out the freezer, and it's not gone mouldy. There's a little bit of water on the top of it. That needs heating to about 70. 70°C, which I do in a tiny little deep fat fryer that I found cheap somewhere. You just fill it full of water, put a bit of water in, stand that in the water, and I spot calibrated it for 70°C. That's what it actually looks like in its raw state. Here you are, Liberon Pearl Glue. So you can buy that stuff. You put it in water, leave it to soak overnight. So yeah, I'll probably crack on with that. Yeah, I've got that tapered in. What you don't want is a series of dark scorched stripes, which you see on some bows where people have done it in a hurry and they haven't moved them along slowly. Right, so it's really a matter of gluing up, I suppose. But what I'll do is I'll have my hot air gun as well as getting the glue hot, because it can gel quite quickly. So I'll warm up both surfaces, start it at this end, get it clamped, not too tight, get it in place, bind it with rubber strapping. It'll probably be a little bit fraught, but at least if I cock it up I can warm it up and undo it. Right, that's my little mini deep fat fryer with some water in it and the little jar of hide glue. Got a couple of brushes, a load of rubber strapping, got my hot air gun ready to go. I won't try and film the whole process because I'll need both hands, but I'm sure you can imagine me painting glue on it. But I think the normal thing is you size both sides, so you get glue onto both surfaces. You get it warm and runny, then you put them together. But it's almost like solder. In solder you can tin both parts, touch them together even though they're cold, then heat it and they'll fuse together. So with this you can get the hide glue on, clamp it up, then warm the whole lot up and it pulls together. It's good stuff. Stinks and it's bloody messy, but other than that, excellent. And I've got all the parts painted over with the glue, so they're sized. I've left these to try and keep them warm, so I'll just give this a quick warm up with the heat gun, whack that on there and start binding it. Hopefully that'll all work. Blimey, it's hard work. It's like wrestling with a bloody alligator. But here you can see the advantage of hide glue. There you go, I've got some squeeze out and you can see it's still soft and gel-like, so that's alright. I pulled it down this far and oh my god, I haven't done the rest yet, the glue's going to go off. Well no, with hide glue I can warm that up, put some more on there, put on my keel and carry on binding. I can also warm this up if I feel it's necessary. So yeah, it's good stuff. It can be less stressy than modern epoxies, and well, I know they've got half-hour pot life and the rest of it, but you can't soften them up and rework them. Right, now all my preparation and ideas went to hell in a handcart, and I had trouble as I was trying to bind this with rubber, it was pulling it to one side or the other, so I've gone for some clamps. The other thing is, where the slat was full width here, hanging over the edges, as I bound it down, it flexed it and made a crack here, which I just flooded with glue. It can always be bound with linen thread or whatever, or I can undo the whole lot and try again. Doing one limb at a time, whatever I learn off this limb, I can apply to the other limb. Old Mum used to say, the man who never made a mistake never made anything. So there you go. Made a few mistakes, but I'm learning from it, and it's how well you recover. It's like, I hate the term expert. If you have to use the term expert, to me an expert is the person who can put right their own mistakes, because everybody makes mistakes. I've just heat treated the other belly slat, and I think this shows a good illustration of one of the factors that makes heat treating work. You can see where there were sort of cracks and what have you in the wood, the resins have actually come out and they're hard, so it's sort of baked hard. So what was a sort of sappy resin is now something much harder. It also shows where there was flaws in the wood, and you can see where it's dried it out, it's actually curved it very slightly. So I'll clean it up on the belt sander again. It's just bowed it very slightly this way. Right, I've got the strapping off, and I think it's better than I thought. Glue here is like really dry and hard and crunchy. There's no real gaps. But what I have, oh yeah, we've got a gap there, haven't we? I can flood that with glue and clamp it up. But what we have got is a couple of cracks have opened up. Perhaps the heat treating was a bit vicious. But again, I can, if I flood all that with glue, get it all hot, clamp it there, it might close up. Similarly there. Oh yeah, that's not glued down. But I can shape that in and clamp it. I think it needs a bit of rework, but I want to get a feel for if the lever's tough enough. I think it will be. I'm pleasantly surprised how stiff it feels, and it's got its bit of reflex on it. So yeah, I'll experiment a bit more, try and tidy it up. But as I said, worst case, I can dismantle it and have another go.